All right, so the time now is 5:30. Let's begin lesson. All right, I don't like to start late. You all know me. All right, I like to start on time. The rest of them should be coming in a while's time. Okay, but before they come in, all right, let's wait for them also. All right, let's start on a question that we were doing last week. All right, so last week we ended off with one review question. All right, a question which I told you guys to try out. All right, this is the question. All right, so let's start off with this question first before going into the today's lesson proper. Can? Okay, come. Let me show you guys again what to do. So the last week, right? Last week I talked about something called simultaneous equation. All right, wait, there's more students coming in. All right, so the last week I talked about something called simultaneous equation. Wow, such a big name, correct? And I also taught you the easy way of doing this type of question. Can? So let's take a look at the two information. The first information we have is there are 7 speakers, 3 TVs, and it costs 3,875. Don't worry about the big number. Don't worry about the big number. You can use your calculator later. Can? All right. And the second piece of information we have is that 1 speaker and 1 TV costs $977. All right. Hey, Fanta. Who's Fanta? Fanta is the drink, is it? Oh, Fanta is Toby. All right, hello, Toby. Okay, so I started off with these two information. All right, let me show you how to present these two information separately. All right, just a recap of what we did last week. All right, I'm just doing a recap from what we did last week. Okay. All right, the first method is more on a picture or a grouping kind of presentation. All right, let's take a look at the first method, method 1. All right, this is just a refresh of what we did last week. All right, just a review. All right, because not fair for Callista because she wasn't here last week. So I just want to show it to her also. Okay, so there are 7 identical speaker. So speaker, right, I purposely write it as the alphabet S. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 speaker. And there are 3 identical television. All right, so TV, right? TV, I write one as a T again. So there's 1 TV, 2 TV, and 3 TV. All right, so S for speaker, T for TV. And this entire thing, woohoo, it costs how much? According to the question, all right, the first information I have, this whole thing costs a total of $3,875. Wow, very expensive. Okay, and here comes the second information. The second information say that 1 speaker and 1 TV is 977. So look, children, look. 1 speaker and 1 TV is how much? 977. Okay, you can use your calculator, don't worry. 1 speaker and 1 TV is how much? 977. All right, and 1 speaker and 1 TV is how much? 977. You get it? You get it? So from this circling, right, and all this grouping, right, can you see something? If I take my 3875, which is the total amount, right, 3875, which is the total amount, to minus 977, how many? 3 of it, 977, and another 977. What do I get? All right, what is the thing that I'm getting? Just press your calculator. All right, learn to press your calculator is okay for today's lesson. 3875 minus 977, 977, 977. I will get a 944. All right, I hope you can get a 944 also. Can? Okay, so Zoe, can you tell me what is this 944? What does it belongs to? Can you go to the chat and tell me what does this 944 belongs to? Looking at my picture. All right, the whole entire blue box, is 3875. This is 977, 977, and 977. So I purposely minus the 3 sets of 977. What is the remainder? What is this 944? That's my question. Can you tell me what is this 944? Look at my picture. Right? Can you see that this is my picture? Can, All right, so this whole thing, right? And I minus away all this, right? So what is left? Tell me. What do you see? Go to the chat and write in for me. Very good. Thank you, Zoe. Yes, I'm glad you see that. All right. So the entire blue box is 3875. You minus the 977, the red circle. You minus the 977, the red circle. And the 977, the red circle. You're left with this 4 speaker. Thank you, Zoe. Wow, good job. All right. And this 4 speaker, right? These 4 speakers will be the green color, which is the leftover of 944. So how do you find one speaker? Easy. Easy. Now it's easy already. All right, because the question asks you for one speaker, you take 944 to divide by 4. All right. Thank you, Fanta, which is Toby. So 944 divided by 4, which is equal to what? 236. All right, 236 is actually the price of one speaker. Is that okay, children? All right, and that's your answer. So what is the cost of one speaker? Answer is 232, 236, sorry. Ta-da! Is that okay? All right, so this is the nice way of presenting. All right, but I did tell you before that sometimes, right, when you go into primary 5, the numbers might not be nice and easy. The numbers might not be beautiful. All right, so how? That's the reason why I suggested a method 2. And this method 2 is a bit more advanced. It's actually called elimination. All right, so there are some students that don't understand this method, but I'm just trying to go through it one more time. All right, just to refresh your memory a bit that this method do exist, and also to let Calista see this method. All right, to see whether she can adapt to it or not. All right, so Calista, this method is okay, All right, this method is okay. All right, you can understand, Calista. This method, can you understand? Can, Okay. So the second method, again, some of you may not understand, but it's okay. But just give it a thought about it, right? Just be open-minded about it, all right? If you can understand in future, you will be able to do more difficult questions, all right? Let's take a look at the second method. So second method is by elimination. So I will write out the first 2 clues. The first clue says that there are 7 speakers. All right, I call it 7S. All right, speaker is like a S. So 7 speaker will be 7S. All right, TV, I write it as a T. So 7 speaker plus 3 TV 3T is equal to 3875. So I'm just listing out the clue. All right, I'm just trying to translate the English down here. All right, I'm trying to translate the English here. All right, I'm trying to translate the English into what? Into mathematics. All right, so I call this what? I call this E to M. E to M. All right, I translate the English to mathematics. Okay, which is a very useful tool, especially now to your secondary school. Yes, secondary school, they are also using this E to M that I've been teaching. And the second clue is what? One such speaker, one S, plus what? One TV means one, T, is equal to 977. So I'm just basically listing out the 2 clues. Can you see this? Okay. Okay, so now you have to zoom into the question. Zoom into the question. The question is asking, what is the cost of one speaker? Right, the question is finding the what? The cost of one speaker. Find speaker. All right. The question is looking for the speaker. Is that true? All right. So the question is looking for one speaker. So what must you do? You must get rid of what? Get rid of the TV. All right. So you want to find the answer for one speaker. You want to get rid of the TV. All right. So get rid means to eliminate. So that's the meaning of this word eliminate. Eliminate means to get rid. Okay. So what is happening down here is you only have what? 3 television to get rid of. But down here you got 1 TV. So how? You cannot take 1 to get rid of 3, cannot. So you have to do a step here. You have to do a multiplication of 3 for this whole sentence. So 1 speaker times 3 becomes 3 speaker. 1 TV becomes 3 TV. Why? Because you times 3. 977 also must times 3. So 977 times 3 is actually 2931. 2931. All right. And this particular portion, this one, right, this one, right, I purposely copy downwards so that I can have a fair comparison. 7S is here, plus 3T, I'm just copying, is equal to 3875. And remember, your objective is to get rid of the what? Your objective is to get rid of the television because you don't want the television. The question is asking about the speaker. So you don't want this portion, which is good. How come? Because 3T and 3T, it disappeared. All right, there's 3 television and 3 television. They kind of get rid of each other. Very good. So what must you do? You must do something called compare, gap, and difference. All right, so children, I'm using different terms here. All right, hopefully you can try to adapt to it so that next time our conversation will be easier. So what's the meaning of gap? The gap actually means, right, between 7 speaker and 4, sorry, between 7 speaker and 3 speaker. What's the gap? So 7 and a 3, the gap here is actually a 4 speaker. Gap means what? To find the difference lah. To find the in the center. So 7 speaker minus 3 speaker. 7 speaker minus 3 speaker will give you the 4 speaker. And what's the difference here? The difference, you take 3875 minus 2931 is actually 944. So you're comparing gap and difference. Children, this number looks very familiar. Yes, it's actually down here. 4 speaker is 944, right? Yes, down here. 4 speaker is 944 also. And your objective is to find what is 1 speaker. So you do the same step. You take 944, divide by 4, and therefore your answer is still 236. Hey, this method is too advanced. I don't understand. It's okay. It's okay. All right, stick to a method that you understand, which is method 1. It's okay. All right, but I'm just saying that method 2 can enable you to do much more questions. All right, so method 1, right, sometimes if the question gives you very nice numbers, you can stick to question 1 and you can do all this grouping. But method 2 is for the more advanced. All right, if the question, right, they give you very ugly numbers, right, you will be able to use method 2 with more use to it. All right, so my job down here is to let you have a bit more option, to keep you open-minded, so that at least you know that there are many different other methods around. You can choose something which is more relevant, which you can fully understand in order to solve that kind of question. All right. Okay, so let me admit Jovi first. All right, so Kalista, don't be afraid of this type of question. All right, if method 1 is good for you, just stick to it. Zoe also, all right, Zoe. All right, I think you prefer method 1 than method 2. All right, but Toby, if you can adapt to method 2, it will make you a much more powerful person. All right, and I think you can adapt to method 2 because you are the one who tell me what to get rid that time. All right, then I told you the advanced step. The advanced step is to what? Remember, if the question is getting rid of the, if the question asks for the speaker, means you have to get rid of the television. All right, so that is the slightly different part that I bring in to your knowledge. All right, Toby. All right, so moving on. Jovi, are you there, Jovi? All right, moving on. All right, this was from last week. This was from last week question. Can? And this week, right? This week we'll be doing a little bit more different kind of questions. It will be a lot more simpler. Trust me. All right, so this week, right, what kind of question will we be doing? All right. Okay, so this week, calculator is also allowed, don't worry. All right. Oh yeah, children, just to remind you, right, before I forget, right, today, right, will be our last lesson for the year 2023. Today will be our last lesson for the year 2023. Can? All right. So the next lesson, right, the next lesson will be in 2024 in Jan. All right. Which day in Jan? Let me check. Let me just look at my calendar. Next week, no lesson.